How's it going, everyone? Leon Angus back with another video. So today I've got a very special guest. He's a good friend of mine, and yeah, we've known each other for quite some time. His name is Ben Adler. Some of you may have heard of him previously through Facebook groups. If you've been on any affiliate marketing blogs or Facebook groups, then you would have definitely come across Ben at some point. He's very active in many of the groups, as many of you may know. But I'll let you introduce yourself, Ben. Who are you and what do you do?
Hey guys, thank you, Leon, for having me on.
That's all right, no problem.
I'm 32 almost, and I'm from the States. And I'm actually coming from a programmer background, and I first discovered niche sites from a post someone made on Reddit.
Yeah.
And they had a crappy vacuum cleaner review website.
Okay.
That was making $500 a month.
Yeah.
And when I first saw that, I was like, this website sucks. I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know anything about affiliate marketing at the time. I was just looking at the way the website was designed, and it wasn't very that good. So I figured I could do the same thing. So I found a niche that had low competition at the time, and this was 4.5 years ago. And by the end of the same year, I was making $6,000 per month.
Crazy results.
And that was just with Amazon.
Oh wow. What was their affiliate program like back then, like the commissions in regards to percentages?
Yeah, so nowadays everything is category based. Like you get paid commission based on what category the product is in.
Yeah.
But back then it was the more you sold, the higher percent you got.
Oh, okay. So
I would get
accumulative kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was on all products. So I was getting 8 or 9%, which was really good.
Yeah.
So those were the good old days with Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. And how long ago, when we obviously refer to how long, because I know there's many subscribers now on this channel who actually are very specific with dates, because I made a mistake before calling things back in a day and was called out by one of my subscribers. You know who you are. But yeah, so when we say obviously back then, when are we referring to for our subscribers there?
It was about 4.5 years ago. I started in January, so it was a timeline.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So like basically, so the site that you had built back then, is that the same site that you actually still have now, or how many sites do you currently have?
Yeah, I have 2 sites right now. One of them is still that original site I created. It's not making as much because Amazon went through a lot of changes, but still it's making money. And for 4.5 years, I say that's pretty good. Especially for a review type website.
Of course.
We saw a lot of those sites that get hammered with the Google updates eventually.
Yeah. And like, are you focused more like around the way you create your sites? I noticed you obviously said review type website. So in regards to your site, like I was asking you this question the other day, but do you think that, like, review sites perform better than doing just like a kind of blog site, like, where you just talk about a topic and then refer products as and when, opposed to actually doing a site based around products altogether?
So yeah, that's a good question. I think if you're really good at SEO and you can rank pages well, then it might make more sense to go with a review site, because that's where all the money is. But if someone's just starting out, they don't have all that SEO skill behind them yet. They have to go for the longer tail keywords, and I think an info site would be better suited for them.
Okay. And in regards to when you refer to long tail keywords, what is the kind of approach you take to your keyword research? What kind of tools or online services do you use to actually do your research? Because I know you're not heavily into tools. I'll just note for the viewers there.
So nowadays I rely a lot on Google Autosuggest. So I type in a partial keyword. And see all the questions people are asking. I also go on Facebook groups and forums to find questions as well that people are asking. It's a very manual approach to finding keywords.
Okay. It's really good as well, because, no matter what tool you use, you still have to actually go back to the Google search results to analyze the top 10. So it doesn't matter whether you're using Ahrefs or whatever. You can't just go off the metrics from the DA and the PA and, you know, all the authority metrics, because you still have to actually analyze the content that they've written to see how well it was written, you know, and whether it's a real authoritative site. Because I mean, there's a lot of sites when you're starting out that you're unfamiliar with. So you have to actually go and see those sites and actually check, you know, the kind of traffic they're bringing in or how authoritative the site, you know, appears to be in that sense. But yeah, so how important do you think it is? Like, I mean, a lot of people have the question of, you know, picking I'll refer to the American term, a niche. Okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, picking a niche, how important do you think that is? Because for me, myself, I don't really focus on that, because I believe you can go into anything as long as you kind of niche down, you know, so
Yeah.
you can own like a small space within almost anything. That's my opinion. But I mean, how do you actually go about that? Do you think it's heavily important, or something you don't really look at?
It's important. I think there are a few basic rules you should follow when you're picking a niche.
Yeah.
My very first mistake was picking a niche that had no products in it.
Yeah.
And if you want to make money, you need a niche that has products in it.
Of course. Yeah.
So that would be one criteria. Secondly, is like not picking a niche that is super small. You want people to be actually searching for it online.
Yep.
And then my other criteria would just be, you know, make sure it's something that you find fun and interesting, so you don't get bored to death when you're writing articles and researching.
I'll definitely back you on that one. I've done that in the past.
But a lot of people, they try to find the perfect niche.
Yeah.
And I think if with the right strategy, you can go into so-called saturated or competitive niches and still be successful.
Yeah.
Starting out, if you have the right strategy.
Of course, definitely. Yeah. So in regards to, you know, your actual website, so like I was asking you again this the other day, is I see like obviously that different so-called, you know, teachers or online coaches give different perspectives on what kind of price points you should go for when building a site, because I think this is quite important. Because obviously if you only get a little bit of traffic, then you might want to be going for higher ticket products, because obviously, you know, you can generate quite a lot of money from that little piece of traffic. But then if you've got high amounts of traffic, you might be able to use ads and all different things. So, you know, what would you say is your strategy when going into a site? And of course, it depends on what kind of site you're building in the first place. But what's your general approach to that?
So I like to have a variety of products in my niche.
Yeah.
I've seen products that rely mostly on promoting one-click bank product.
Yeah.
And that's kind of risky, I think, because if that product goes away,
yeah,
and there's no replacement for it, there goes all your income for your website.
Of course, definitely.
So I like to have a variety of products in my niche. And price range, you know, 150 or maybe $100 and up, I think is a good price to shoot for.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so the next question I've got is in the size of your niche sites, because again, you know, we have authority sites, we have hybrid sites, we have niche sites, all these different names. So for someone who's starting out, like what is it, you know, what do you classify as an authority site, and what do you kind of categorize it as a niche site? Like, you know, how many pages do you tend to go for of content to build up your sites?
Yeah, so terms are confusing, like authority site, niche website, or at least microsite, you know.
Yeah.
I think authority site is like the Wirecutter, for example.
Yeah.
I would view them as an authority site. They're known in the industry for doing what they're doing. And that's probably what an authority site is the reputation that a site has.
Yeah. So the brand essentially.
Yeah. Like Wirecutter, they're somewhat of a household name now.
Yeah. Definitely.
So what was the other question, Leon?
Yeah, so no, so I was saying, yeah, how do you, you know, how do you actually go about? The other thing I wanted to ask as well, sorry, prior to this, was just touching on the topic of the price points. So we were talking about the price points, because you never gave like a metric in regards to what kind of price points you feel that are good for products to go for on Amazon, because obviously, you know, some people go for higher, like over 100, some people go for over 300. What's the general idea you go for, like, you know, the general guideline that you follow to pick a product on Amazon? What kind of criteria does it need to meet?
Yeah, for Amazon, I mean, if I'm doing a review, I probably won't review anything under $150.
Yeah, okay.
Just because people aren't searching for $20 products for a review, because some people might, but it's such a small purchase, you know, people are willing to take the risk without researching as much.
Yeah.
But for the, you know, $20 and $50 items, you can just include them in your info products too. So that would be my strategy.
Okay. And for your, I've got here backlinking. So do you do any kind of off-page SEO backlinking or any promotional kind of strategies when you actually post some new content when you're building a new site or on your existing site?
I used to, and back when I first started my site, it helped. I used a broken link method.
Yeah.
I got it linked that way. A few other networking opportunities I got links from as well.
Yeah.
But besides that, I don't build links anymore. It's just, I find it very tedious.
Yeah.
Links do work if you build them correctly. But it's just like, that's not where I want to put my focus on personally. So I just focus on content right now.
Yeah. So you do think that your efforts are higher rewarded by focusing on content to actually move the business forward, opposed to actually building links? Because links will come naturally, obviously, with good content anyway.
Yeah, that's my strategy. There are other people in my niche who just focus on reviews, and I've looked at their profile, and it's like you can tell they're a bunch of they built a whole bunch of links, you know.
Yeah.
And they're ranking well, so it all depends on your strategy.
Of course, definitely. Okay, so for someone who's just starting out, what would you recommend, you know, they do in regards to getting a website off the ground if you were to get back into the trenches today, right from the beginning?
Yeah, so when you're first starting out, I think the most important thing is just work on content.
Yeah.
I see people get pulled in so many different directions. They're doing Facebook and Pinterest.
Yeah.
And even if you get traffic from those social media websites, when they come to your site, even if you don't have content, they're not going to stick around.
Of course.
So the most important thing in the beginning is just like getting good content on your website.
Yeah.
If you don't have content, you really don't have a website.
Yeah. It's like your asset in that sense, isn't it? Yeah. Definitely. So. Okay. All right. And when you obviously gave us, you know, the peak or pinnacle of where your site has reached, or, you know, in monthly recurring income, so that was like $6,000 per month. How long did it actually take you to get to that point from the start of building that site?
So the $6,000 mark was month 12 of my website.
Okay, so within 12 months. That was very quick. Very quick. Okay. All right. So we've gone over a few of your successes and a few of the highs, but we also want to focus on the lows as well. So if we can obviously, you know, learn a few failures that you've had, then maybe some of the viewers can actually avoid that on their journey when they're building a site. So first of all, like, what is actually some of the failures, the biggest mistakes that you made when starting out your site? Like something that you feel is going to be valuable or helpful to someone that's watching this video.
Yeah. Like I said, my very first website, it didn't have any products in it. So that was my first mistake right there. Other things I learned along the way is like, you don't have to focus just on Amazon. There's different affiliate networks out there that pay a lot more, and just monetizing your site in different ways. Another mistake I did was not putting ads on my site sooner. I thought ads were spammy. And, you know, I hate spam.
Yeah, of course, like we all do. 80% of the internet.
So I went years. I just put ads on my site like several months ago. So I went like almost 4 years without ads.
Okay,
and
wow.
I missed out on a lot of money. And it didn't affect my affiliate earnings. It didn't really affect my bounce rate that much. So I was just simply missing out on money because I didn't put ads sooner on my website.
Yep.
So and they will increase your income. So.
Brilliant. And would you recommend, like, what's your kind of benchmark for placing ads on the site? Because just say, for example, you know, I've got a site that's doing about 4,500 visits per month.
Right.
I do know, like, obviously with, is it Mediavine that you have to qualify for at least a certain benchmark, isn't it? Isn't it like 10,000 per month or something? So, yeah, where is that benchmark? Would you place ads right from the beginning, or would you wait until you hit that benchmark for Mediavine?
Yeah, I would wait till 10,000 hits to get into the more premium networks like Mediavine.
Yeah.
Or Ezoic or whatever.
Okay.
If you have ads on your site and you're not making that much, if you're not getting that much traffic, you're not going to be making that much anyways.
Yeah.
So you're really not missing out.
Yeah.
And your site might actually look better without ads. So it might help user engagement and SEO and things like that in the beginning. So I would wait till I got 10,000 visits to put ads on my site.
Okay, brilliant. Okay. Yeah, so obviously at your stage now, you've learned a lot, like over the years, you know, you've built up a lot of experience through building niche sites, but are there still any challenges that you face on a day-to-day basis or week to week, month to month right now that you're actually up against that you'd like to share with anyone watching the video?
Yeah, right now I've been just focusing on like long tail keywords and being very specific with user intent.
Yeah.
So that's like answering what the person's searching for. And that's a process I'm still getting more familiar with.
Yeah.
So a few months ago, I wrote a post. It was like a 600 word post, and because it was low competition, so it got to #1.
Yeah.
And that's bringing in about 500 visits a month, which is really good.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how to repeat that process on how to find more keywords like that I can easily rank for and come up with a system to duplicate that. So those are things I'm working through right now.
Yeah. All right. So I think we've gone through quite, you know, a lot of all of the different successes and failures that you've had. The last very thing that I would like to discuss before going into the next topic is conversion rate optimization. So this is something that's not really talked about, but I know that there's a few guys who actually watch this channel now who are a little more advanced than beginner stage. So this is the information that you might be able to share with them. You know, how do you go about improving your conversions or ensuring that you get a good conversion when your visitors land on your page? So I do know you gave one point, which was answering exactly what they came for, but running off that, what else do you do in order to, you know, increase your conversions? Are there any plugins, any kind of widgets or anything that you use, you know, any techniques or strategies that you use to increase that at all?
So I don't use plugins for conversions. When it comes to links, I've done a little bit of testing myself, and I found that like simple links perform better than like any complicated wording or any spammy looking links. Just like a plain blue link will do pretty well.
Yeah.
And anytime I have a link, I like to tell the user where they're going, what to expect when they get there, and give them a incentive to click the link. So you don't necessarily just want to highlight your product name, your product in your article. You want to spice it up a little bit, like
of course.
Head over to Amazon to check out the Nikon 3000. It even comes with a free free camera strap or something.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of incentive to give them.
I actually saw on Income School's channel the other day where they'd done a video on this, and they said instead of saying, you know, head over to check this out or whatever, they were kind of like, I was quite surprised at how cheap I found this product on Amazon. You know, so then like it's quite different because then you've built up the incentive for them to click because they're like, oh, you found it for cheap on Amazon. Okay, I'm gonna go and check that out, you know, kind of thing. So yeah, definitely, I understand that. Okay, so like one of the last things that I wanted to talk about, which is what I actually went through before this video with you, is it's about mindset, like, because I think it's very important, is something that's overlooked with, you know, many entrepreneurs and people who are starting out. Because I know, like for me, when you first start out, you know, a lot of gurus give you this idea that you can kind of, you know, click and make money, where you forget that you're building an ethical, real business online, and it has to actually solve some type of problem or help some type of person in order for you to be rewarded with money. So, like, what is the mindset that you actually adopted in order to get you to those levels of success? And how do you go about on your day-to-day basis, like a typical work day?
Yeah. So I like to keep things pretty simple. I'm like in high school, I was a long distance runner.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of used to like just like following through and doing things over and over again.
Yeah.
That
Long and
repeats.
steady. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so my mindset when I first built my first niche site was like I could see the end. So I knew if I put in the work, it would like work. So part of it was just like trusting yourself and like having faith that the process is going to work. Like if you don't think it's going to work, you're probably not going to follow through in finishing your website.
Yeah. Yeah.
So part of it is just like understanding and trusting the process and knowing that if you do the work, it's going to work out.
Yeah.
So that's probably what helps me.
Yeah. And just for you to like manage your day to day, what is it that keeps you motivated, like, you know, to consistently work hard now? Is it the results that you've previously had and what you know that you can potentially get? Like, what is it that actually, you know, keeps you? Is it discipline? What would you say it is that keeps you going?
So after my first website, I was pretty burned out, and if you keep writing reviews all the time, like I'll get burned out from that.
Yeah.
So I took a break actually from like niche websites.
Yeah.
And then you know, I started discovering new strategies about writing informational articles, and it's a lot more exciting for me to try new strategies and just like to see the process again using a new exciting strategy.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps me going.
Okay, so it's not mundane, like the same thing over and over in that sense. So it keeps the spark.
So there's like a variety of different topics I can write about instead of just doing the same review style over and over again.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say your goal is as well, like for building niche sites? How many sites do you recommend that? You know, I've seen people start like several sites. I had a kind of goal of, you know, doing 4 sites. It's difficult with just managing 2. Like, you know, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So what would you say is like the sweet spot for someone who's building a site? You know, definitely I will just pitch in for anyone watching this video who's starting out. If you are starting out, do not go and build 2 or 3 sites. Start with 1. Just focus on 1 site. It's a mistake that a lot of people make.
Yeah.
But what would you say is the sweet spot, like as an end goal? Like, what's your goal?
I agree with you, Leon. Just like if you're starting out, just focus on 1 site until it's successful, and you don't want to be trying to grow 2 sites at once. Once 1 site is on its own, it doesn't need your attention as much. You can start building another site. The sweet spot, it all depends. I mean, I think right now I have 2 sites, but I think like 3 sites would be kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. Brilliant.
That are totally passive.
Yep.
And have a good variety in different niches there.
Of course. Yeah. And are you in the SEO and niche sites for the long term, or is it something that you're here for the long run? Yeah.
Yeah. So when I build my websites, I think of them as long-term assets. So I want them to last a long time.
Yeah.
My first website, you know, it's 4.5 years old, which I think is pretty long for a niche website nowadays.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Definitely.
So like, you know, if you get 2-3 sites under your belt, and they're making each a few $1,000s a month, that's pretty good.
Yep. Definitely. Okay, so yeah, I would say we're coming to the end of the call. We're 24 minutes in now, But what I would say is, if you could give any beginner any advice, of where to get started and how they can get started. I do know you have a Facebook group as well, but what would be the advice for you to give them, and and how can they actually get in touch with you if they do want to actually get started with you?
Yeah, I do have my own Facebook group. I have a mini training there that's free. I'm working on a paid course right now.
Yeah.
But in the group, there's a lot of good information. There's no spam. It's very supportive. And it's great for beginners starting out.
Yeah.
Income School is good, like you mentioned, Leon. I follow them as well.
Yeah.
And I would stay away from any of the, well, this might not be for everyone, but I like to stay away from anything that requires like paid ads in the beginning.
Yeah.
If you don't have a lot of experience, expect to spend a lot of money experimenting with ads.
Yep.
So if you want to keep things simple, I think just growing your site organically and following people who do that is a good strategy.
Brilliant. And you don't do any email marketing or anything like that then at all?
No, I do have an email list, but that's just because if I want to sell my site, I can say I have a list.
Yeah.
I've never actually sent out any emails.
Oh, okay. might be missing out on some cash there, but that's for another story. But it's already making the kind of money you're satisfied with, more than enough for a niche site anyway. So, never enough money though, can always do with some more money. But yeah, okay, that's brilliant. So guys, that's Ben Adler. Again, if you want to see more on Ben and you want to learn, Ben's strategies and get started with Ben, then make sure to go and check out his Facebook group, which I'm going to leave a link to below this video. You can go and check out Ben's Facebook group. I think he's got a few thousand members in there. I'm not sure how many he's in there at the moment, but you can go head over. He's a very nice guy. I'm sure he'll get to helping you with whatever it is you need. So if you have any questions and you want to know from someone who's actually, turned over $6,000 per month profit with affiliate marketing and building a niche site purely with SEO traffic, then definitely Ben is the person that you need to be speaking to. Are there any last words that you'd actually like to give anyone, Ben?
No, when you're first starting out, just like work hard and write good articles and you can make it work.
That's it. Brilliant. All right, then. Well, we'll be wrapping it up, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on this video. If you are new to the channel, then make sure to subscribe and also make sure to check out Ben's Facebook group if you haven't already. All right, then. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.